Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner, and today we're going to be assessing the market.
Yeah, dude. I don't know when the last time we did this was. In studio, of all places.
Yeah, not only that, physically here, present.
Yeah, dude, we got freaking, you can't see this, but we got like juicy-ass monitors now.
Yeah.
We got this like freaking box with an Apple on it that apparently is a computer. I didn't know like they made these things, but.
Yeah, the Mac Mini.
Yeah, the Mac Mini, dude. Things are looking, they're sprucing up, finally.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
Studio's advancing. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's Black Friday, dude.
Yeah, so now that we're here, and we're like thinking, what the hell do we talk about? And we haven't really assessed because we've been so metaverse focused, right?
Yeah.
For I don't know how long, for too long now at this point. Like
2
we
years.
lost sight of all the happenings outside of the metaverse.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's about time, dude. Time to realign our assessment of
position ourselves on the market. Like, where are we exactly?
Yeah, because as big as the metaverse is, it's not the driver of all things.
Absolutely not.
It's Bitcoin, and it's mostly Bitcoin.
It's just Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is the driver of all things crypto, so we got to pay attention.
Yeah, so what we're looking at here is the Bitcoin price, and we all know it's been hovering around $50,000. It goes up to like 60, 69K. That was the top. It's gone down since then, and we're trying to figure out where exactly the market cycle is going to end. And so we have some pretty solid predictions for this, and there's some pretty good evidence to support our predictions.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like meme evidence. Just it's a lot of gut instinct, but I mean, dude, gut. You got to go with your gut.
Well,
man.
not only that, the meme lines are important because it's a measure of mass psychology.
Yeah,
and so the whole point of meme lines is what other people are drawing.
They're drawing similar
same lines.
Meme lines. Yeah,
yeah.
So it's what is that, like a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And so let's take a look at the predictions here. So let's just go to the charts, right? The famous charts that we keep talking about in the past. We have Willy Woo, and then we have Plan B charts, the stock to flow ratio.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like the stock to flow ratio because specifically the cross asset model, which we've made a video in the past. Definitely look for that and watch it. But it's important. The prediction in that model is around 288,000. So if we go back to the chart here and we actually plot where 288,000, you just shrink this completely, and this is
a lot of shrinking.
Yeah, this red line represents 100,000, right?
Just a psychological barrier, right?
Yeah,
like that's all it is.
And then you keep going, keep shrinking, and there it is. This green line represents roughly 288,000.
Where did you get that green line from, though?
The Plan B. Stock
Prediction?
to flow, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
This is stock to flow cross asset model. That's the one where it starts comparing Bitcoin to commodities like gold and silver, and in the next cycle, it's the stock to flow ratio will surpass gold.
Okay,
and so
and we kind of started thinking about that. Like all of a sudden, you can kind of envision that moment, right? Because it's going to be neck and neck with gold at this inflection point that you kind of have drawn up.
Yeah.
And like all the meme analysis is kind of like agreeing with it.
Yeah.
You can kind of start to already formulate the media headlines, the freaking mass culture mania that's going to form, right? It's the perfect narrative, dude.
Yeah.
Gold and Bitcoin finally head to head freaking celebrity deathmatch.
Finally.
Like it's going crazy. Like what else could be more like mania driving than that?
So at that point, every single news station is going to be talking about how Bitcoin is right neck and neck with gold.
Yeah.
And is it going to surpass it? Everybody's going to FOMO in. It might take it to 300, maybe 400,000.
And then people are going to start saying $1 million Bitcoin.
$1 million Bitcoin.
Imminent.
Yeah.
Like any day now, guys. Like, everybody cash out your 401ks because the dollar's dead. Bitcoin's the new currency.
And the first big whale to listen to that news station is going to be the first big whale to hit the sell button. And then that's when everything starts crashing.
Yeah, because it gets a little ridiculous, right? Everything we're saying is like super ridiculous.
Yeah.
But as ridiculous as it sounds, 5 months, from when it's actually going to happen, because we're predicting like this peak's going to happen around 5 months from today.
Yeah. So let's actually kind of measure this out. So from here all the way to 288,000, which is the prediction, we're looking at a roughly 4x return, right?
Okay.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
You don't get 4x's like every day.
Especially not in a couple of quarters.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so this represents 5 months. So if we go back in time, let me go to auto, and we go back to $20,000 Bitcoin here. We did the exact same measurement 5 months prior to this.
Yeah.
And let's cancel that. So if we zoom in here, did I click? Let me click auto. Okay. So if we measure 5 months back,
Yeah.
we're about this accumulation zone. Look at that.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of an accumulation zone ourselves.
Yeah, it looks more obvious now because
Yeah.
when you draw these comparisons, because the understanding is, as Bitcoin matures over time, there's going to be a lengthening process, which we've already seen. Like we made videos, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, whenever Bitcoin first cracked 60K.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing to speculate about back then, right? Is Bitcoin going to do like this blow off top where it's just going to screw up all of the models, or is it going to correct and give, the market a chance to reaccumulate for the actual next inevitable blow off top?
Yeah.
And that was the more favorable scenario outcome, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we said we wanted to happen, because the longer it takes for Bitcoin to, progress through this cycle, the higher the top will be.
Yes.
So
Yeah, and so I guess the question should be, well, why 5 months? Why isn't Bitcoin just going to explode in December?
yeah, a lot of people
just-
think it will.
Yeah,
End of
and,
year.
and,
Yeah.
and just meet the 4-year cycle of Bitcoin.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you go back to Plan B's chart, and let's go home here, and we look at the chart.
Yeah. The color of these dots means something, and I only just learned this today. I thought they were just colorful dots, but they have some serious significance to them, and it paints the picture
Mm-hmm.
that we're talking about, the lengthening cycle. There's evidence of it here.
Yeah. So if let me zoom in here. So if you see this yellow dot, that represents the $20,000 Bitcoin of 2017, right? We're in the midst of yellow here, right?
Yeah.
So if it's supposed to meet the continue this 4-year cycle, it should end in a month.
Yeah, like
Or less
it
than a
has to
month.
peak out while it's still yellow, basically.
While it's still yellow,
These
yes.
colors mean what exactly? Like
It means
proximity towards the next happening, right?
days until next happening.
Yeah. Okay.
So if Bitcoin's predicted to lengthen after every cycle from here on out,
Mm-hmm.
and so if that's true, then Bitcoin should peak right around where this yellow turns into green,
Yeah.
which is roughly 4 to 5 months from now.
Yeah, I mean, this is meme analysis, but to
Yeah.
us it makes sense. Our gut likes it, so
Yeah.
you just kind of compare like the color schemes of this chart. That's what we did. We zoomed in on the dots and we did like a hue comparison.
We did.
We found like the matching hues from the previous cycles, and then it kind of gives you like an expected outlook of like once once the hues match, like how much time we have left, and it tells us once to get to that transition weird color, like neonish green, where it's not yet fully green, it's not any more yellow, it's like somewhere in between.
Yeah.
It's gonna take about 5 months.
Yeah, that's right. So then if we go back and we go to the previous cycle and go 5 months back, this is to the equivalent of where we are right now.
It just all of a sudden there's coincidentally the market was behaving identical to how it is today, right?
Yeah.
It is the last accumulation period before the big, blow off top cycle or part of the cycle begins.
Yeah, and then the last piece of evidence to support this position, this prediction of 288,000, is if you look at the multiple to get from where it was in July 2017 all the way to December is around a 6x multiple.
That was another thing when we pulled out these growth comparisons. The assumption is not only does the cycles lengthen, but the peaks and the troughs are going to start to become more and more condensed.
That's right.
Which stabilizes the volatility of the asset, right?
So then what multiple are we supposed to see in the next 5 months from now? This is telling us a 4x multiple.
Yeah.
So which falls in line with not only the lengthening, but the volatility starts getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, which is to be expected. If Bitcoin is going to surpass gold and become, everything gets advertised to be the new standard of value accrual or whatever you want to call it, the store of value.
Yeah.
It's got to perform like how gold has throughout the ages, right? Like it's got to be very stable and reliable and, you know, all this shit, right? Governments need to harvest it and like, you know, vault it up, lock it up.
Yeah.
All that shit, right? So,
and it will get there.
It will get there.
But the narrative is that it's going to get there this cycle, and that's when everybody's pressing the sell button.
Yeah, that narrative that we know so well at this point.
Yeah.
It's still only like a concentrated understanding, like less than 1% of the people on this planet understand.
Yeah.
Like that's where we're headed.
Yeah.
Like from like a global monetary perspective, but like once mom and pa figure it out, because, you know, Fox News, CNN, everyone's grilling it into their head, you know, that's whenever you see manias, right? I remember last mania vividly clear, dude. It was unbelievable. Yeah. Right. And that's nothing compared to what this one's going to look like.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't even imagine. I mean, the last mania didn't have TikTok. As ridiculous as that sounds, like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Just because we've seen what TikTok, the power of TikTok and like social media has on the mass consciousness, right? With like Dogecoin, Shiba Inu.
True. GameStop.
GameStop, all the whole Robinhood madness. Like, yeah, the culture has the power to just move mountains, dude, as long as there's like mass consensus, right? And the tools are there.
And the narrative for Bitcoin competing with gold and like this is it.
Yeah, this is it. It's like a true gold rush. All you have to do is download Robinhood or Coinbase and, you know.
Yeah, then you're in.
You just exchange some of your cash for this new digital gold and that's it, dude.
People are going to be buying Bitcoin at 290,000, 310.
Yeah, it's not like you're being asked to like traverse a freaking country on a wagon and some horses with like your whole family. Like half of them will be dead by the time you get there, and then you gotta like dynamite some mountains to get to this gold, right? Like that's the old model, right? That was the analog gold rush. Now we're in the digital gold rush. It's so accessible.
Yeah, that's true.
So where everyone you know is gonna buy.
Yeah, all you need is a cell phone, internet connection, and you got Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's not hard at all, dude. It's too easy. It's too easy to where like that's how you see these ridiculous, you know.
So that's our signal. Remember, for months we were trying to figure out like what's the news like headline that's going to trigger the sell off.
Yeah, I mean, I was speculating the only thing that could stop such a manic.
It's like governments.
Yeah, because I mean we're talking tens of trillions of dollars, like an overall crypto market cap here.
Yeah. I
mean, that is an absurd amount of like value and capital. So that's going to require global participation on a scale, you know, governments have never witnessed. So obviously, like every red flag imaginable is going to be, you know, out there for them. Like, okay, it's time for us to like step up and like, you know, make some decisions here very quickly to put an end to all this. That was what I speculate will be like the main driver of like a sell-off.
Yeah.
But probably not. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I just think it's going to be the absurdity of the gold and Bitcoin comparison.
For sure.
It's just like it's so absurd.
Well, it's absurd that it's expected that it's going to be competing like this cycle, but it will get there. It's going to not only compete, but it's going to surpass Bitcoin, or it's going to surpass gold in terms of value.
Yeah.
But it's going to be neck and neck towards the end of this, and then it's going to dump from there. Yeah,
and then the crude reality, I don't know if crude is the right word, but the reality of the situation is the same forces that were in control, you know, 4 years ago, you know, the concentrated wealth of Bitcoin holding, they're still in existence. It's not like they sold and let go of all their Bitcoin. All of a sudden, this is a much more distributed asset. No.
Yeah, no.
It's still in the hands of a few whales. They control, like, the market.
Yeah.
You know, and they know very well, like, you know, they have this marked on their freaking Google Calendar.
Yeah.
It's like, this is sell-off day, boys.
Yeah.
Them and their little crew, wherever the hell they hang out.
That's true.
Like, they know when the freaking sell-off's going to happen, you know? So,
yeah.
We're just kind of trying to, like, think like a whale, understand the narratives that will occur, and then, like, at least attempt to, like, you know, play along. Yeah. Like, in a reasonable time frame, right?
So we got about 5 more minutes. I wanted to talk about this since we have some time. What about the narrative of like Michael Saylor buying like, you know, 15,000 Bitcoin everything is going to be locked up in these ledger wallets, and these Bitcoins are not going to be sold at any point in time.
Yeah.
What that means essentially is there's still Bitcoins that are going to be available on the market, and that's what dictates the price. So even though we have like these huge whales holding Bitcoin because they just recently bought it, they're very unlikely that they're going to sell at $250,000, right? They're not going to sell at the top. They're just going to keep holding it.
Yeah, I mean, if they're true whales, they'll know, like, there's
it's overbought.
It's overbought.
But here's the thing. It doesn't matter whether they hold it or not, because the price is the price that people buy and sell. It doesn't matter how many people are holding Bitcoin. Is my point.
No, it only matters like what's happening in the market that in that moment.
That's right.
The spot price of the asset, and it's going to be dictated by mass psychology, things like this.
Exactly.
And then it's panic, it's fear. Because you're going to the people who are who are in control. They're gonna hit their sell target for the cycle. They're going to trigger like the fattest of red candles, like that most normal people have never like encountered in their life, right? They're going to be newly exposed to this, like the volatility of these kind of markets, and it's frightening. Even if you have $100 in the market, it's frightening to see like half of it just vaporize in a couple of days. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah. So, and then that fear spreads, and everyone all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, Bitcoin's actually a scam. Like, things like that start happening, and then
normal.
This is normal. Yeah. This is how it goes, and then 12 months from then, like Bitcoin will just be a ghost again. Like nobody's gonna talking about it, and we're gonna start all over again.
Yeah, but we will. We're gonna continue.
Yeah, we'll still be here because that's what we do. Yeah, so it should be interesting, but yeah, we're getting there, dude.
Yeah, I just remember, us doing this podcast, this YouTube channel, and we were just trying to figure out like what is going to be like the headline that triggers the sell off, and the headline is ultimately going to be Bitcoin matches gold's market cap.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the narrative to drive the last couple of weeks of the mania, where you need a mass mania to inject that much capital.
Yeah,
to where you see like Bitcoin go from like 100K to 200K almost like overnight.
Yeah,
that's the kind of strong narrative you're going to need for that to happen. And the thing is, that's actually what's happening. So it's not like a bullshit narrative. Like,
no, it's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
So you could do that, and it's a very persuasive selling point.
Yeah, for people on the fence on Bitcoin, it's like, holy crap! It's like it's matching gold now.
Yeah. So I'm kind of more aligned with this. That was your original assumption, right? Like it's just the absurdity of it all is going to be what causes like a panic sell off. It's going to become so absurd. Like you really don't need government intervention at that point.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
We'll fuck ourselves at the end of the day, like we always do. We don't need anybody to pull the plug. Like we'll pull the plugs in ourselves, just out of our own ridiculousness, right?
Yeah,
that's what we do.
Free market, right?
Yeah.
That's what you want. That's what you want.
That's what you want. Like at some point, we're gonna be like, you know what? It's getting a little too wonky out there. It's time to call it a day.
Yeah.
But then there's going to be the people in delusion like, no, this is just a healthy correction. We're actually going to go to 2 million or something like that. And those are the people, hopefully you're listening, don't buy into that because you're going to get rizzity wrecked. Like really bad, dude. Like I had friends in the last cycle who bought into those narratives and they got wrecked, like super wrecked.
Right.
And
we're going to 100K, right? That's when 20K came around.
Yeah, I was telling them to buy Bitcoin, but it was like 3 or 4K. Like, no, it's a scam, bro. Like, don't you know? It's like it's all fake. Like, they could just steal your money. So, the typical FUD.
Yeah. And
then once it gets to 20K, all of a sudden they want to go all in.
Yeah.
Sell the house, And then they go in and they get fucked. And this is just clockwork, dude. It just keeps happening over and over again. It's
you know why
it's
it
entertaining
happens?
Though.
Because new people enter the market and they don't know.
They don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't know. But hopefully you guys watching this, now you know.
Yeah.
And we'll be there.
Yeah.
Hopefully we won't be too busy with other things, but we'll try our best to be there and
imagine doing like a live stream of this whole thing.
A live stream during the Mania? It's just like a 2 week long
streamathon.
Jesus.
All right. Well, that's been Bitcoin. We didn't really talk about Ethereum, which is
that's
roughly,
next, I guess.
roughly 10 to 20% of Bitcoin's price. So
yeah, Ethereum has a lot going for it. It's a much lengthier discussion talking about Ethereum, just because there's so much more going on. Right?
Yeah, but just multiply what we talked about today by 0.2 as the max valuation of Ethereum in terms of price.
Yeah,
and then that's where it's going to be at. So that's been Bitcoin, and yeah, let us know what you think in the comment section below. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at the Block Runner and also at MetaZone.io, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace out, everybody.